Dear friends, in the previous session, we discussed the growth of expenditure on production axis. This increase has a economic logic that if the expenditure is increasing on account of increased production and expenditure is also increasing on account of investment in techniques and new processing techniques of production, new facilities of production. If there is an expansion in capacity of production activities, in that case, the growth in expenditure will take place and it will cause the pool of income to grow. On the other hand, if we increase the expenditure on the another pool, there is also a monetary pool of income. If we increase the expenditure parallel to the monetary pool of income, in that case also expenditure can grow, but it will not have a proper economic logic and justification because it will not cause the production growth. If there is not production growth and if we simply increase the monetary value by infusing more and more expenditure, that is a monetary value in the economy, it will only cause the inflation because there is not a parallel and commensurate increase in physical activity of production. So production remaining same, if we increase the monetary values, in that case inflation will be a natural cause. So deficit financing has a similar kind of effect. It causes income to grow, but not the productive activities. In that case, the inflation almost nullifies the growth in income because if the income is growing and inflation is also growing, the growth in income has no meaning at all. Purchasing power will increase, but the consumption will remain same because the production is also not increasing. So the availability of the goods for consumption, if it is also not increasing, it has got no economic justification. Therefore, the deficit financing to certain extent is allowed along with the growth in production. If it is taking place, then it can be justified. And similar effect is of the subsidies. Subsidies is also given to certain sections of the society to make them able to purchase the essential inputs like for farmers. If they can't purchase fertilizer and pesticides at a higher price, the prices of these inputs is controlled by giving the subsidies. Similarly, there is another socio-economic factor involved in this, that for weaker section of the society, deprived section of the societies, if they are living below the poverty line, if they can't even afford meal for their consumption, so physical survival becomes a problem for them, and because of the poverty, there are other health issues and many other issues which causes quite a devastating miseries to this deprived class, which we call it below the poverty line. So for them, there is a economic justification. There is economic logic also that they have to survive as a human being, and some decent standard of living is also required for them to survive in a otherwise very difficult competitive socio-economic fabric of our societies. But if the subsidies are not aimed at long-term effect of elevating them from the present level of poverty, it means that if they are not given proper education, skill development and training, and if we can't provide them alternative sources of employment or additional sources of employment, if they cannot be absorbed in trade, commerce, and industry, that is the organized sector of the economy. In that case, the long term effect of poverty alleviation will not be there in the economy. So, barring this kind of subsidy, all other subsidies have a negative impact on the monetary forces prevailing in the economy. You can watch very clearly that the actual point of balance is now in the square of production. It means that productive activities need to be strengthened. We have strengthened the monetary forces of the economy, but we have not increased the physical availability of goods and commodities for the purpose of consumption. Therefore, the inflation is taking place because a limited quantity, if more monetary value is chasing a limited quantity, physical quantity, it means the prices will go up, and that is the phenomena what we call is inflation. So inflation can only be increased by increasing the production, but we are making the expenditure not on the production side, production pool. So obviously, new line of expenditure must be incurred on the pole of production. Only then the imbalance can take place in the society. Quite obviously, this movement, earlier movement of increase in production should have caused anti-clockwise monetary flow of force to income side expenditure, then anti-clockwise income, and then anti-clockwise consumption, and then anti-clockwise production. This is the natural monetary flow of the economy, but in this case, if you consider, it is a clockwise movement. Means growth in expenditure is which should have caused increase in production, but it has rather stagnating. Therefore, the sphere of the economy is now tilting on the side of supply atmosphere. It means the supply atmosphere is now quite weak, and it must now expand on this side of demand volume. Demand volume cannot grow if we don't increase the supply atmosphere, and supply atmosphere will only grow when the production activity will grow. So this is the anomaly of current topic of discussion, that if the increase in expenditure is on the pole of income, what effect it will cause? Because earlier we have discussed that the growth of expenditure is upward, that is on the pole of production, and we have seen what monetary, how the economy benefits from it. In this case, if we consider that the square of the expenditure is also almost same, because 10% increase in expenditure, earlier it was on the production side, and now similar increase is on the side on the pool of income. In both the cases, the square of expenditure is almost same, but there is a adverse effect on other divisions of the economy. First, we consider the vertical division of the economy. Earlier, the vertical division, the volume was 4,900, and in this new graph, you will find that it is 5,021.95%, the area growth. In terms of percentage, it is 2.44%. Similarly, the atmosphere has grown by 5,028.05, and the percentage growth almost similar, 2.56%. Earlier, the volume growth was 4,900. It means there was a pressure on the demand, and atmosphere was quite strong because the increase in the production has had caused the area to grow from 5,000 to 5,312.46. That is 6.25% increase was witnessed when the growth in expenditure took place on the pole of production. You can find the difference that 6.25% increase earlier, and now when the expenditure is going on the income, the area growth of atmosphere is only 2.56%. So there is a pretty big difference of almost 4% in the growth of area of supply atmosphere. Since there is a no significant increase in the demand volume, therefore it is also stagnating almost 5,121.95%, that is 2.44%. Earlier, the difference was quite prominent because the volume was to change. Anti-clockwise movement should have was likely to affect the demand volume, because in that case the volume had reduced by minus 1.25%, and since the growth of 6.25% took place in the supply atmosphere, so the availability of goods was there, so income can easily chase the growth in consumption, would have supported the cause of increased production. So producers can in that case anticipate a almost readily available market for their increased capacity expansion as well as additional growth in expenditure. Same logic also strengthens the horizontal division of the economy, that now there is a expansion. Horizontal rectangle is now representing 5,312.46% increase in area, that is the growth of almost 6.25%. And physical, comparatively, there should have been at least 5,000, that is the ideal area, but actual area has rather decreased by 4,937.54%, that is minus 1.25%. It is always the equal value assigned to a monetary value. If the monetary value is more, in that case, the physical equivalent will decrease. The same phenomena we are witnessing here, that since the monetary rectangular has gained from 5,000 to 5,312.46, or almost 6.25% increase. Therefore, there is a decrease in the quantity produced in the regular shape of physical activities. Earlier, it was the growth was 2.44% and monetary forces also 2.56%. So almost equal growth was causing because the expenditure was increasing on the pool of production, and therefore it was almost same. The monetary value was almost equivalent to physical counterpart, that is production and consumption. Rate was not increasing, and because the production was also increasing and income was also causing the increase in consumption, because the purchasing power remains same only if there is a commensurate growth in the supply atmosphere. If we consider the whole activity square, that is the square of income, square of consumption, square of production, and square of expenditure, you will find that consumption has rather decreased. The pole of consumption, the square of consumption has rather decreased. This is only because the monetary pressure, inflationary pressure, is causing the reduction in the consumption. Similarly, the income is increasing from 2523.44, almost 4.94%, but it is comparatively much lower on the side if we consider the growth in the square of expenditure, which is now showing the area of 2689.25%, that is 7.56%. So this monetary flow generating from the square of expenditure is causing the inflationary trends to happen in the economy, because the income should have grown almost at the same speed at which the expenditure is increasing, because the income is almost 2% lower in growth as compared to expenditure. Therefore, inflationary forces is causing pressure in the economy, because for the square of production, that is also showing the reduced size, comparatively a reduced size from 2500, which was the ideal area earmarked for it. It is now 4039.02%. In terms of percent, it is decreased by 2.44%. Therefore, the growth is now stagnating, because in real terms, the growth is not taking place on productive side. Unless the production increases, the level of productivity increases, unless new technologies take place and cause increased production, it will not cause the growth in the size of economy as well as the size of sphere of economy and square of economy. Square of economy is contained in the sphere of economy. Therefore, both will not show a positive sign of development. Now, the fourth division of the, that is the triangle of stability. In this case, also you will find that the triangle of volume or the demand volume, that is 2500, and now it is 2460.98. There is an increase of 2.44%, and that is mainly on account of increase in income. Income is also part of volume, and income and consumption cause the composition of triangle of volume or demand volume, it is only 2.44% increase it is showing due to increase in monetary value of income. But the triangle of monetary stability is quite on a higher side. That is from ideal area of 2500, it is now 2689.2. In terms of percentage, it is 7.56%. Obviously, monetary flow is caused by the deficit financing or financing the subsidies and other factors also. Therefore, the monetary stability of monetary triangle, if you watch the area of it, it is on the quite a higher side. But a similar growth is not taking place in case of triangle of supply atmosphere. That is showing only growth from 2500 ideal area to actual area of 2560.98, that is 2.44% increase. And this increase also, mind you, that it is because of the growth in expenditure, not on the side of production. Supply atmosphere contains two activity, one physical activity of production and monetary activity of expenditure. But in this case, whatever growth in supply atmosphere is taking place, that is only on account of monetary value of expenditure. The triangle of physical activity, that is 2500 ideal shape, now it is on a reduced side 2439, and that is minus 2.44%. It means the physical activity of production is not taking place comparatively, because the it is always expressed in terms of monetary counterpart, and monetary counterpart has increased quite a lot. And since there was no physical expansion in productive activities, therefore it is equivalent, it has rather on the minus side, almost 2.44%. That means that the production is stagnating, and since the production is stagnating, the repulsive forces which should have caused the increase in income, we have seen not only the attractive forces working, but we have also seen the repulsive forces at action, that growth in production causes income to increase, and growth in expenditure causes the consumption to increase. Anti-clockwise, if we consider it, that expenditure and growth will naturally cause the income to grow, and anti-clockwise it will cause the consumption to grow. So repulsive forces in this case is not happening at all, but it is rather causing a reduction in the physical equivalent value of physical production and physical consumption. There is also readily available the comparison between the previous expansion in the growth of economy on the pole of production, and now we have already discussed the effects and repercussions of growth of expenditure on the monetary side. Both the comparisons are at your glance, you can see what value difference is taking place, and this is the real purpose of the shape of economy or the graph of the economy, that whatever difference is taking place is because of which economic activities that has gone haywire. Haywire means they didn't have the economic logic, and therefore now the economy is chasing a new stage of equilibrium between the four fundamental forces of economy. That is, primarily it is to physical activities of consumption and production, and monitoring of counterpart income and expenditure. So you can make your own calculations, and you can verify the calculations which is part of display in the book also, and on this video also. You can watch it, you can verify it, and if you have any other logic to offer, please make comment and let us know your opinion, your considered opinion, and let us all put together increase the knowledge, the awareness of economic activities, because we all perform economic activities without knowing what policies cause us a level of distress, a level of disappointment, because we all chase monetary targets, and we should be aware what is happening all around us, and how it is going to affect the future of our generations to come. Thanks.